The Boston Bruins stuffed the Buffalo Sabres on Thanksgiving Eve. Charlie McAvoy is good after taking a late boarding hit that made him take an early exit from the game. And we're going to interact with the Locked On NHL Power Rankings here on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins. So let's get into it.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up and happy Thanksgiving, Boston Bruins fans. It's another episode of Locked On Boston Bruins. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things spoke to be, as well as take a look around the NHL. It is Thursday, November 25th, Thanksgiving for all you Americans out there up here in Canada. Just another Thursday, so we roll on with the podcast. I want to thank you for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. That's something I'm very thankful for here on Thanksgiving. The podcast is available on all podcast platforms, so please do hit that subscribe button if you have not already. It's also available on YouTube, so follow the Locked On Bruins YouTube channel to get the podcast in video form as well. If you are on social media, you can follow the podcast at Locked NHL Bruins. It's also on Instagram, Twitter, both handles. And as you can see on the screen, if you're watching YouTube, Ian C. McLaren for all my dad jokes, hockey tweets. You can also follow along there on Instagram if you so desire. So the Boston Bruins fell behind 1-0 to the Buffalo Sabres, making fans gulp a little bit, but that was quickly rectified as the Bruins scored 4 unanswered goals in the first period, en route to a 5-1 Thanksgiving Eve tilt against the Buffalo Sabres. There was one lineup change prior to the game. Linus Ullmark tweaked something in the morning skate. He was replaced by Jeremy Swayman, who was celebrating his 23rd birthday, and he picked up the win. He said he tries to keep his preparation the same every game. Wasn't too much of a transition for him when he did get the call. Goalie Bob told him what the deal was. He was happy to get the start and on getting the win as well. Ullmark, unsure of his status for tomorrow's game. Head coach Bruce Cassidy did say the player or the goalie who started against the Sabres likely will start tomorrow afternoon against the New York Rangers just because of that quick turnaround and getting in fresh. They won't really have a morning skate, no practice today because it's Thanksgiving. Ullmark was able to serve as the backup, so I guess it's not super serious, but that's something to keep an eye on for sure. Kyle Okposo did score the game opening goal, kind of getting the best of both Patrice Bergeron, who was covering him in the defensive zone, as well as Swayman. But from there, it was all Bruins. They responded with 4 goals in the first period, one from Bergeron, another from Charlie Coyle, David Pastrnak, and then Mike Riley got a goal as well. And they just completely dominated the opening frame, chased Arundel from the net, and didn't look back from there. Cassidy said they really pushed through after that first goal against. They were trying to play the right way, get up the ice in a hurry, in and out of their end, support the puck, play off the shot, and they really controlled the play, got some breaks around the front of the net, and you earn your breaks by putting the pucks to the net and outworking people in the dirty areas, he said, and they were able to find the back of the net. Now, Taylor Hall added a third period power play goal to reach that 5-1 score. It came on a 5-minute man advantage that was caused by Buffalo's Zemgus Girgensons boarding Charlie McAvoy right into the dasher. McAvoy was helped off the ice. Girgensons was given the 5 and a game misconduct. After the game, Cassidy said that McAvoy was up and moving around, needed some stitches above his eye, but he was hopeful that the blue liner would be fine to play on Friday afternoon against the New York Rangers. He said he's good, doesn't expect there'll be much going on. He has a gash over his right eye, but a head injury, which was the initial fear from everybody watching, isn't the case, but who knows? These things can always pop up later on. You could go to bed, have residual effects the next day. So Cassidy, like we all are hoping, that he said he hopes McAvoy wakes up healthy, feels good, has some turkey, and is ready to go on Friday. So prognosis, as good as possible for McAvoy there. Ullmark, not expected to miss extended time, but again, it'll be Swayman getting the start on Friday, and perhaps Ullmark will be back in net for Sunday's game against the Vancouver Canucks. It was great to see Charlie Coyle scoring in this one. It was the game-winning goal with 4:50 remaining in the first period. Just been really encouraged to shoot, and he said it's just about using his shot more. He said that to himself his whole life. Just keep using it, get himself in position to get it off, receive the puck, and do what he can. When you can be a dual threat, he said, it's that much more advantageous, and it's going to pay off. He now has 5 points over his last 4 games, 11 and 16. It's production that's flown a little bit under the radar. A lot of people still lamenting the departure of David Krejci, but that's pretty good production for a second-line center. And Cassidy said he's played pretty well, to be honest with you. His numbers are good, shooting the puck, helps on the penalty kill, second power play pretty consistently, scored a couple goals, and starting to have the confidence to shoot, which is good. And that's what they have asked of him. Make the plays when they're there, but don't be afraid to be a finisher either. He's attacking more too, taking it to the net. Before he might have deferred that, looking for someone else. Now he's taking some ownership of the goal scoring part. And it's really great to see. It was also great to see Taylor Hall. I mentioned him yesterday. Like to see him get going a little bit. And he responded with that absolute snipe to the top shelf where I keep all my gluten-free shit. Beautiful shot there for Hall to kind of, not really quiet the boo birds in Buffalo, but to at least stuff it to them, really. Back to Coyle, he said he's trying to get back to normalcy, getting stronger after off-season knee surgery, and it's paying off for sure. Another guy who looked pretty good was Nick Felino, playing in his hometown. He had a fight, recorded 2 assists, 5 hits. Didn't score his first goal yet, which he was hoping to. Maybe break out that Felino leap that his dad made so famous. But a very strong game for Nick Felino, and it's been great to have him back in the lineup for sure. Another guy that is playing really well is Jakub Zboril. He has 3 assists in his last 4 games. He now has more assists in 10 fewer games than Matt Grzelcyk. Zboril with 3 assists, Grzelcyk with only 2. And Cassidy said he's understanding what it takes to play in this league. Takes a lot of guys some time. It happened with Grzelcyk. He'd go back down, come back up, finally found what he's good at, which is transition, confidence to make a play when there's ice available. And we're seeing that with Zboril playing a harder brand of hockey. He had a big hit on Okposo, a big man. That was one right in front of our bench. You could hear the woos coming from the bench as well. Willing to put his body in harm's way. He's a 200-pound man, seeing a little bit more of what he needs to bring to the group, playing to his strengths, handling the puck, making good plays, and hopefully he's able to stay consistent, according to Bruce Cassidy. And from my perspective, very difficult to see Jakub Zboril coming out of the lineup anytime soon. He seems to have arrived as a full-time NHLer, which likely will leave Connor Clifton in the press box for the time being. Before we move on to a couple other notes from this game, quick word about Built Bar. Built Bar is a great option when you're hungry. And if you didn't pick any up for today's Thanksgiving celebrations, you can jump on the Built Bar Black Friday deals. Black Friday will be a huge event with all sorts of surprises over at built.com. Built Bar, they have new surprises all month, limited time flavors arriving at built.com regularly, so check the site often. They're covered in 100% real chocolate, low calorie, low carbs, low fat, high in protein, and all these great flavors again. So check it out tomorrow, built.com on Black Friday. A lot of surprises, some great deals. Use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Thank you again for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. We're free and available on all podcast platforms as well as YouTube, so please do subscribe there. And each new episode will be added to your feed for you to download, listen, watch, enjoy. If you could also rate and review, that would be very much appreciated. And drop a comment in the YouTube feed, and I'll be happy to chat with you there as well. Great win for the Boston Bruins against a very beatable Buffalo Sabres team. I mentioned the other day that they had a real opportunity to pick up some points over this next stretch heading into December. Probably tomorrow's game against the New York Rangers might be the toughest of the bunch. I thought on Thursdays, usually I looked at the top 5 teams in the NHL in seasons past, a segment I like to call All the President's Men. But this year on the Locked On NHL network, we are each voting on power rankings. So I thought I would take some time every Thursday to check those out, see who's up, see who's down, and where the Bruins fit in the grand scheme of things. Keep in mind, these were released yesterday, so last night's action may have influenced things, but I don't think things would have changed too much. First of all, where do the Bruins fit? Well, they're 14th in the power rankings at this point. If you look at the overall NHL standings, again, it's really important this time of year, especially to look at point percentage instead of actual points because of games in hand and the like. The Bruins, 625 point percentage, which is good for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12th in the NHL when it comes to point percentage. So 14th seems pretty fair. They have a +7 goal differential, which is kind of middle of the pack, or maybe middle of the pack, I guess, when it comes to where teams rank. So I think the Bruins pretty fairly placed there, although with their strong underlying numbers and some very winnable games here in the next week against Vancouver, Detroit, even the Rangers, they could really move up in next week's voting. Top 5 teams were the Florida Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes, the Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, and Toronto Maple Leafs. For me, the Leafs a bit high in the voting there, point percentage. They are behind the 4 teams I mentioned, as well as Washington, the Rangers, the Lightning, 690 point percentage. Canes and Panthers, clearly the top teams in the Eastern Conference right now. Close to tops in the NHL. I think the Capitals should have been a bit higher than the Leafs. The Capitals right now, 725 point percentage, +23 goal differential. So they are off to a very strong start for sure. At the bottom, you have the Senators, the Coyotes, 32nd, Senators, 31st, Kraken, very disappointing so far. The Canadiens and the Canucks. Again, Canucks off to a terrible start so far. I think it's their worst start in 20 years. They're 6-12-2, 350 point percentage, a -19 goal differential. So a very winnable game for the Bruins on Sunday against the team that they beat in the Stanley Cup final. just 10 years ago now, or over 10 years. Boston's opponent tomorrow, the New York Rangers. They ranked 8th this week. They sit 6th in the NHL in terms of point percentage, 12-4-3 start, 7-11 point percentage, only a +3 goal differential. So, yeah, it's pretty surprising to me. They have very strong goaltending in Igor Shesterkin. The offense maybe not clicking as well as it should. Alex Lafreniere, Capo Keiko, kind of getting off to slow starts in their careers. Lafreniere still technically in his rookie season. He hasn't played a full 82 games. I actually traded for him in my Keeper Dynasty League the other day, if anybody cares. So that will be a tough one tomorrow for sure, but should be a very entertaining game. I have memories of the Black Friday game a couple of years ago when David Krejci scored the game-winning goal after a beautiful play by David Pastrnak in overtime. That was one of the best games that season, and I expect tomorrow's game will be pretty entertaining as well. Hopefully, the guys aren't too stuffed. Some of the bigger movers, the Avalanche are moving up, getting healthier. Some surprises. The Blue Jackets, I think, deserved a bit more love. They have a 647 point percentage. They ranked 20th in the power rankings, but when it comes to actual points, they rank 12th, and they are, top half of the league when it comes to point percentage as well. So they're a team worth checking out. I'll retweet these power rankings, but top 5: Panthers, Canes, Oilers, Flames, Leafs. I would swap the Leafs for the Capitals at this point, but the Leafs, they have won a couple in a row, 8-2-0 over their last 10 games. One of the hottest teams in the NHL. The Colorado Avalanche, who I just mentioned, they're 8-1-1 over their last 10. Pretty hot as well. The Bruins over their last 10, 7-3, and hopefully they can build on that momentum. The team with the longest winning streak at the moment, the Calgary Flames, Florida Panthers, Pittsburgh Penguins on 4-game winning streaks. The Avalanche on a 6-game winning streak. The Islanders have lost 7 in a row. They came in 26th, and they've gone to the conference final the past 2 years. Really have surprised, but it looks like, well, I don't want to say they're coming back to earth because part of it is they have a bunch of players on the COVID list, but still, it seems as though the Islanders are not going to be that team that surprises this year anyways. So yeah, that's it for the power rankings update. We'll do this every Thursday. Do follow Locked NHL Bruins. I'll be sure to retweet those and let me know what you think about where the Bruins sit. Like I said, they're 14th right now, and I think that's pretty fair for the moment, but there is an opportunity to move up here over the next couple of days. Today is, of course, Thanksgiving, and a lot of people will be watching football. Nothing goes better with football than turkey and betting. BetOnline has you covered all holiday season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. They're your number one spot for all the sports action this holiday season. Head to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus with promo code LOCKEDON. It's not just football either. They have you covered for pro and college hoops, hockey, boxing, UFC. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available this season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. We're stuffed with Thanksgiving deals. Use promo code LOCKEDON to get that 50% welcome bonus. All right, let's finish with some news and notes from around the NHL. The Vancouver Canucks, they lost last night, and things not going well for them by any stretch of the imagination. Thomas Drance, who I worked with at The Score, he writes for The Athletic, covers the Canucks, And there's a lot of players who could be dangled by the Canucks in the trade market. Brock Besser, I think, could be a guy that the Bruins take a look at as a scoring right winger. JT Miller might be more up their alley, as he might be more in the Bruins mold of players, but definitely some players that will be available for the Boston Bruins. They did just trade for Connor Garland. That was a guy the Bruins coveted in the offseason. And I think, with the relationship between Jim Benning and the Boston Bruins, if he's still around, that is, there's definitely something there. I joked on Twitter yesterday that it'd be kind of not hilarious, but would be coincidental if the Canucks were to lose to the Bruins on Sunday, and that was what caused some major turnover. They do play the Blue Jackets tomorrow, which will not be an easy game at all. So, I don't want to say heads might roll over the holidays, but definitely not looking great over in Vancouver. What else is going on today? A lot of games on the slate last night. Leon Draisaitl recorded his 20th goal already in 19 games. He leads the NHL in scoring with 40 points through 19 games, which is ridiculous. A 2.11 point per game average, 4 points ahead of Connor McDavid, who has 36 points. There's quite a gap in the scoring race, really. Alexander Ovechkin, 3 points behind McDavid with 33, which is insane at his age. Not only is he second in goal scoring, tied with Chris Kreider and Andrew Mangiapane, but to be racking up the assists as well is pretty incredible. And then from there, there's a huge drop off. The fourth highest scorer has 8 fewer points than Ovechkin. That would be Nazem Kadri, who has 25 points for the Colorado Avalanche. Brad Marchand with 21 points through 16 games. He's 11th in scoring. That number jumps up a bit when he is when you look at the points per game, 1.31. He's among the league leaders. That's kind of where we're at in terms of the scoring race. The Panthers have won their 11th straight game at home to start the season, which I believe is an ongoing record, or they tied the NHL record actually for consecutive home wins to start the season. And when it comes to NHL Power Rankings, like I said, the Bruins were 14th in the Locked On NHL Power Rankings. When it comes to the NHL.com, they're 15th. And they said they're thankful for Charlie McAvoy, who has turned into a bona fide number one defenseman, potential Norris Trophy candidate. Scratch the potential there. 13 points, 15 games, 6 points at even strength, 7th on the power play, averaging 23-24 of ice time per game. And they had the Blue Jackets at 16th, who I said deserved a bit more love. I think their top 5 is Carolina, Florida, Washington, Edmonton, and Calgary, which would be my top 5 as well. So very thankful for the Bruins win last night. Thankful that McAvoy seems to have emerged from that boarding incident with stitches above his eye, but no head injury to date. And hopefully he will be good to go for tomorrow's game against the New York Rangers. Not quite sure if I'll record a podcast before or after that game, but there will be one tomorrow for sure. And thank you so much for taking some time out of your Thanksgiving to listen to this episode of Locked On Boston Bruins. Very thankful for all the support. Thankful that you make this podcast your first listen every day. For your second listen, go check out Locked On Bets. They'll have you covered for all the football action today. It's your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets podcast. So happy Thanksgiving, friends. Talk to you again tomorrow. Enjoy some turkey. I got to get to work since it's not a holiday up here, but I'll check in with you later on social and talk to you tomorrow. on the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every day.